VPP and Polker, best two tokens in GameBliFi suggested by Alex Becker that probably will do nice multipliers in upcoming 2 months of the alt season. Hi there, we will talk about VPP and Polker and the market updates. And in the first place, I just wanted to share a little bit of interesting statistics. We have 0 women watching these videos and this channel, so I hope your dick is doing well. So guys, we see a nice bit of the correction. Yesterday till 40k and currently till 40k as well. It seems like people they start to stay in the longs, and that's why exchanges and market makers, they're doing their things in terms of flushing the leverage out. And I just want to provide a quick overview because I know some things about exchanges, how they operate, and just provide a quick overview on this. So we have market makers on top. They hold a bunch of Bitcoin and their idea is obviously to make money. Then we have exchanges like Binance and like BitGet, Bybit, Max and things like that. And all these exchanges, they're providing information to the market makers in terms of how much money they have leveraged currently. And the goal of the exchanges is to liquidate your money because this is where they're actually making profits. Most of them, if you would ask them directly, if you would ask the employees, they would tell you, no, we do only make money from commissions. We don't make any money from liquidations. And then we have a question then why they introduce these flash drops that essentially take all the liquidity out of shorts or out of longs. So they persuade each and every person on the market that they do only make money on the commissions, and that's the whole thing that they do. But some of them, if you're an influencer and you have a lot of following, you can even ask them for a deal to get a percentage of the liquidations of the referrals that you have on the exchange. So that's basically quite interesting. And a very, very interesting thing that some of the exchanges are actually doing. So let's say you come in onto the exchange, and one of the things that the exchanges are doing that's a very, very interesting thing. So let's say average Joe is essentially coming onto the exchange and he started to trade the futures. What they do is they gather analytics over the time that he's trading. If he's a net negative or if he's net positive. And they kind of have very interesting connection that the liquidity that these exchanges providing for leverage is often not theirs. So they're working with liquidity providers. For example, small exchanges, they might be working with Binance as a liquidity provider to give them liquidity so that people can trade on leverage. And there are some separate companies that are liquidity providers just by themselves, and that's the only thing that they're doing. So the way it works is that once you start your position with leverage, the exchange is sending the order to the liquidity provider to provide liquidity for this order. And then whether or not you are winning or you're getting liquidated, the liquidity provider is the one who is either giving you away the liquidity if you took profits, or is taking your liquidity if you got liquidated. And obviously, most of the traders, they are trading as net negative, and there is a very, very low, basically, chance of someone doing net positive over time. That usually takes a lot of skill and persistence as well. So what some exchanges are doing, they gather analytics of average Joe that just registered on the exchange and he started to trade futures. If they see that you are negative, they stop sending the orders to the liquidity providers. So they take them for themselves. Therefore, it means with the fact that Joe is mostly liquidating most of the times, they're taking out his liquidity. So they're not sending orders to the liquidity providers. They're basically just taking out his liquidity in chunks. And that's how they operate. And that's how they can basically do corporate parties in Atlantis Hotel in Dubai for 150 people and things like that. So it's a very interesting thing of how they operate. And obviously in terms of the market making, so what's happening is that exchanges, they send information to them that, hey, we have a lot of leverage in long currently, and they basically make a decision. All right, so we would sell like 20,000 BTC. So the market will crash. We will flush out the leverage and we will split the profits. So some of them the market maker would take, some of them the exchange will basically take. So that's basically the whole game. And it's kind of easy to understand often if the market sentiment is too focused on one side or either on short, we will often get the opposite reaction to make sure that they can flash out the leverage and they can make money on it. So it's all just a fucking scam, guys. So coming back to our virtual poker and Polker situation, I think gambling tokens, they're quite nice in the fact that you can replay it a lot of times. So with poker, for example, you can play poker on a daily basis, and it's kind of exciting because it's new match all day, every day. It's not like a singular linear game where you have to, follow the story and maybe like complete the story once or twice, and then it's not like that exciting. Therefore, we have, for example, comparison with games like Dota or CSGO, where it's competitive and you can play it for years. Like I personally have more than 5,000 hours in Dota 2. So therefore, you can basically play this game for years because it's a new set up in each match. It's like football in a way, I would say. So, and it's interesting what Alex also mentioned on this in his last video.
Why do I think gambling is going to be absolutely huge? These are the simplest games to build, and if you build them the right way, they're also the most addicting, and they have the most long-term use. If you go and make Elden Rings of crypto, people are going to play it for a month, and then that's it. That's how people play Elden Ring. One of the best games of all time. Has 2 months of playtime. Gambling games, people just log in every damn day. For example, I've been using the same gambling site I used since I was 24 years old. I've been using this damn site. I've been a customer for years. That's because it's a piece of crap site. Everything about it's terrible, but I keep using it. Doesn't matter. You can make really successful gambling businesses, and gambling and crypto goes together like peanut butter and jelly. It just fits. I think it's probably, if not the strongest narrative next to mobile gaming, in my opinion. So, easy one to start off with is D-Race, who is
mobile gaming as well. That's a very, very nice point. So with gambling, what we have is basically we have the ability to get these quick hits of dopamine, and it's very easy, it's very straightforward. From the business model point of view, they have models and games that people know already, that people already like, that are net negative for the players and net positive for the companies, for the casinos, for businesses on the long over time frame. They cause addiction as well. So it's kind of the same thing as if you are selling like cigarettes or alcohol, because it's nice type product to sell for the business, because it's basically a very low churn rate, I would say. And at the same time, it's quick and easy. And he mentioned something very interesting about the mobile gaming as well. So imagine all three in one: gambling, mobile, and crypto. And for crypto, I think it goes very nicely with gambling as well, because if you would check these guys who are investing in low caps, that's pretty much gambling as well. And what do we have that is mobile, GameBliFi, and crypto? I wanted to share this screenshot that's from one of the communities I'm in as well, and I think that Polker move to Polygon chain is quite bullish, because Polygon just made the partnership with IMX and with Beam. Last cycle I was doing some game development, and Polygon was like a choice for a lot of people to move into for the game, and there were a lot of games that were actually launching on Polygon. And at the same time, you still get this great liquidity, like access to nice liquidity from Ethereum, because it's basically a layer 2 on ETH. So you can, it has a very nice compatibility with ETH, and a lot of money at the end of life cycle, at the end of last cycle, they were in ETH. And I think this cycle we have the same kind of situation as well. They're working on the Android and iPhone game. So it's quite bullish because of this mobile gaming narrative. And if you check Axie Infinity, it was also huge on mobile. And just imagine, like you open up your device, you have like a wallet connected, you have 10 or 15 minutes between work or something, like a lunch break, and you go several games of poker with nice NFTs and real engine graphics using your crypto. That's very actually nice. And you can do it like for a long period of time. Like it's just not that you would play for 1 or 2 months and then just quit. Crypto in the app, decentralized. Yeah, so these are just some projections from the guy. That's like a 3x from here. I would definitely be up if we will have this. Although I think that we might be entering like an alt season for 2 months at least. And then we might dump before the halving, because halving is usually a bearish event, but we will see. no one knows. If we check out how our portfolio is doing, is that we're dipping a bit more. So if you would see on the 24 hours, bobo is the one that's dipping, but I will still be holding it because it's just a very, very nice narrative with pepe. And my entry point, like I'm still in a little bit of profit. So I do see that max will go 2x down here, and I will probably just DCA in then. Remark, hustle in the game. He mentioned something on Remark today in terms of how it's an infrastructure play, and some people they stop believing into it. I took some profits on it before. I would probably just hold just because of the fact that I had a nice entry point, and I think they will do their thing. In terms of the winner, I've sold all the tokens yesterday. They will have the unlock on 15th of December, so kind of waiting for this. VPP and Polker. So I do not want to sell any of my tokens. I don't care about the dollar value at this stage. I am ready to hold them both like long term. I think it's a very, very nice play that will be promoted by Becker and other people in the industry as well. It's a combination of narratives that we have. Virtual Poker is existing business with great team and revenue as well. I do not plan to sell it for dollars. I just would want to hold the amount of tokens that I have and increase the amount of tokens. So if it would just go down, I would just DCA in. I think I got very, very nice buys, and I'm still 3x in profits in both of them as well, which kind of helps. SpartaX doing nicely. They had the launchpad yesterday for the guaranteed allocation, and they will have one today as well. So I will try to get some tokens on first come, first serve, because the product VVX is kind of interesting as well. I've checked out the details yesterday. Phantasma is an infrastructure play as well. Nice. It's kind of interesting to see how the tokens are also going up after the dip. Yeah. So we see that Phantasma is going up a bit. Luxa as well, but Luxa is a higher market cap. Polker down, Virtual Poker coming up. This thing I sold, and yeah, these two. So they in risk zone but bobo I'm just too confident in. And Luxa. So I probably will do a next video on Luxa actually, because I would really want to tell a bit more about this token, reason why I bought it in the first place, and how do I plan to play it out, and what are my goals in terms of Luxa as well. But it's definitely part of this 10 million 25x once we see some movement in January. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope it was valuable. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and looking forward to the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.